The Red Hulk has officially made his debut in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Today on CBR, we discuss what's next for Red Hulk. Let's get started. The return of Red Hulk, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU, opens up a ton of potential new storylines. If you're a fan of the Hulk comics, you already know that Ross becoming the Red Hulk is a huge deal, and it could take the MCU in some exciting new directions. Let's start with the most likely option, a prison break. After the events of Captain America, Civil War, and everything that's happened with the Sokovia Accords, Ross is locked up in the Raft, the high-security prison for superpowered individuals. Importantly, Ross willingly turned himself in to be incarcerated at the Raft, which may make a prison break seem unlikely. However, Ross now has another side to him, the Red Hulk side. While historically in the comics, Ross has kept his mind when transforming, in the MCU, the Red Hulk may have other plans for Ross. Now, the Raft's been a pretty solid place for holding dangerous individuals, but there's one major problem. It's never had to deal with a Hulk before. You can imagine how that might go down. The Raft is equipped with all kinds of high-tech security, but Ross's Red Hulk form is on a whole different level. What happens if he loses control while stuck in the Raft? The security measures might not be enough to keep him contained. We could totally see a scenario where Ross gets pushed to the breaking point, unleashing Red Hulk in a massive prison break. And it wouldn't just be a threat to the Raft itself, it could spark chaos throughout the MCU. A Red Hulk escape would definitely set the stage for some intense action, and with the potential for all kinds of dangerous fallout. The thing is, the Raft isn't just holding Ross, it's also where Samuel Stearns, aka the Leader, is locked up. And if you're familiar with Stearns from The Incredible Hulk and Captain America, Brave New World, you know he's no slouch when it comes to manipulating gamma-powered beings. Stearns, having been exposed to gamma radiation himself, has been on a path to becoming one of Hulk's most formidable intellectual foes. The guy's basically a super genius with a twisted agenda, and he played a key role in unleashing Ross as the Red Hulk. Maybe Stearns uses his scientific expertise to influence Ross and push him back into his Red Hulk form. If you think about it, Stearns would have all the motivation in the world to try and manipulate Ross. He could see Red Hulk as the perfect tool for his own escape, or even something far more dangerous. The Leader is known for being both smart and sneaky, so he'd find a way to use Ross to his advantage, whether it's triggering the transformation or amplifying it. Stearns could be the catalyst for a Red Hulk rampage. But even beyond a prison break, we have to consider the possibility of Ross being released on his own terms. Think about it. Ross isn't just some random guy. He's got a ton of political and military influence. He's been involved in some of the biggest events in the MCU, and he's not someone who gives up easily. If Ross wanted to get out of the Raft, it's not hard to imagine him using his connections and reputation to negotiate a release under controlled circumstances. He might argue that his Red Hulk persona could be used for a greater good, or that his abilities could help the government fight bigger threats. After all, Ross has always been about control, and he might believe that if he can channel Red Hulk's powers properly, it could be an asset for the greater good, or at least his own interests. Plus, Ross has a history of organizing elite teams, both in the comics and the MCU. We saw a bit of this with his involvement in the Sokovia Accords, and there's always the possibility that he could use his Red Hulk form to create a new superpowered team. In the comics, Ross has been behind teams like the Thunderbolts, a group of anti-heroes and former villains. If he were to be released, there's a solid chance that Ross would use the Red Hulk as a stepping stone to form a new team with some seriously powerful individuals. With his experience and military background, Ross could end up putting together a group of people that could rival the Avengers, or even be a thorn in their side. This could be the perfect setup for another Thunderbolts movie in the MCU, with Ross at the helm. With Red Hulk making his way into the MCU, the possibilities for his future role are fascinating. His transformation into Red Hulk already creates a potential for big things, and now fans are buzzing with theories about how he'll fit into upcoming MCU storylines. The most intriguing rumor? That Ross could be a major part of the Thunderbolts movie scheduled for release in 2025. Given his history in the comics and some juicy hints dropped by Marvel, there's a good chance that Ross will play a pivotal role in the team's formation, and he might even step into the leadership position. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's break down all the exciting possibilities for Red Hulk's future in the MCU. If you're familiar with the comics, you know that Ross has a significant role in leading a version of the Thunderbolts. In the comics, Ross eventually takes control of the team, which has included anti-heroes like Frank Castle, the Punisher, and Abigail Mercy. His leadership style is rough and uncompromising, making him a perfect fit for a team of reformed or not so reformed villains. In the MCU, rumors are swirling that Ross will not only appear in the Thunderbolts film, but that he might even take on the mantle of the team's leader. A small, yet intriguing detail detail in the film's title, specifically a mysterious asterisk, has some fans speculating that this could be a nod to Ross's involvement. If true, we might see him transform into Red Hulk at the climax of the film, leading the Thunderbolts into battle against whatever threat they face. The Thunderbolts film could be a great way to showcase Ross in a more complex role, especially if he's heading up a group of anti-heroes and former villains. His character has always been someone who's willing to take drastic measures to get the job done, and that could make him a perfect leader for a team that doesn't always play by the rules. The idea of him transforming into Red Hulk during the film's climax also feels like a natural progression. His inner rage and thirst for power could come to a boiling point, leading to his full transformation. Not only would this give the Thunderbolts a Hulk-sized boost, but it could also make for some epic action sequences. Even if Ross does not actually appear in Thunderbolts, it does not mean that he will be separate from the team forever. This could be the perfect setup for another Thunderbolts movie in the MCU, with Ross at the helm. His Thunderbolts team could even be rivals to the Thunderbolts from the upcoming film. Having two Thunderbolts teams active at once would allow the MCU to showcase just how many morally gray Marvel characters have found themselves on the Thunderbolts team over time, and it could show more paths to redemption for the MCU's rogues gallery. But there's more to Ross's future in the MCU than just the Thunderbolts. In Captain America: Brave New World, we see Ross encouraging Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, to rebuild the Avengers team. This suggests that Ross's views on superhero teams might be evolving, and he could play a more prominent role in the formation of future teams. In the comics, Ross has had a complicated relationship with superhero teams. While he's typically been an antagonist, he's also been known to join forces with Earth's mightiest heroes when the situation called for it. In 2010's Avengers number 7, Red Hulk actually joins the Avengers, and this could be a storyline the MCU adapts for Ross as well. If he were to join the Avengers in the MCU, it could lead to some interesting dynamics, especially with Bruce Banner's Hulk already in the mix. Imagine a scenario where Ross as Red Hulk teams up with the Avengers to face off against an impending threat, like the big bad Doctor Doom. This could be a major plot point in the upcoming Avengers Doomsday, a film that's been speculated to focus on Doom's rise as a villain. Red Hulk's presence in the MCU would create an interesting tension with Bruce Banner, especially given their history. Bruce, as the Hulk, has always struggled with controlling his monstrous side, and now Ross would be in the picture, essentially embodying that uncontrollable Hulk power in a different form. That kind of tension could add a lot of drama to future MCU movies, and we could see some intense confrontations between the two characters. Additionally, Ross could play a key role in Avengers: Secret Wars, another major MCU event film. Secret Wars is expected to be a massive crossover event, involving characters from multiple universes and realities. In this context, Ross could once again find himself at odds with other versions of Hulk, as well as the larger Avengers team. His actions might even be the catalyst for a bigger conflict, especially if his pursuit of power leads to dangerous consequences for the multiverse. But perhaps the most exciting possibility for Red Hulk's future in the MCU is the potential for a World War Hulk movie. This storyline, based on the iconic 2007 comic event, is one of the most eagerly anticipated potential projects for the MCU. In the comics, World War Hulk is a story in which the Hulk returns to Earth after being exiled into space and goes on a rampage to get revenge on those who wronged him. In the MCU, with multiple versions of the Hulk now in play, Bruce Banner, She-Hulk, Scar, Hulk's son, and Red Hulk, the groundwork for this kind of storyline is already being laid. While no official confirmation has been made about World War Hulk yet, the mere possibility of it has fans hyped. If this storyline does come to the MCU, Red Hulk would undoubtedly play a central role in the conflict. In fact, with his own Hulk-like powers, Ross could end up being a key figure in a battle between different versions of the Hulk, which would be absolutely epic. Ever since The Incredible Hulk, the MCU has shied away from projects featuring Bruce Banner's Hulk in the central role. While Jennifer Walters did get her chance to shine in She-Hulk, this lack of focus has held true for the Hulks in general. A World War Hulk movie could rectify this issue by having the Hulks finally be front and center in their own feature film once more, and really delving into the conflicts that make Hulk characters stand out in Marvel and amongst superheroes. The World War Hulk movie could also be a major turning point for Ross as a character. It could mark the culmination of his transformation from a military figure obsessed with controlling the Hulk to someone who becomes a Hulk himself. The narrative could explore the consequences of Ross's actions, as well as the toll it takes on him emotionally and physically. Would he continue to fight for control over his powers, or would he fully embrace his Red Hulk persona? This internal conflict could add depth to Ross's character and make for a more complex, layered antagonist or anti-hero. The future of Red Hulk in the MCU is packed with potential. Whether he's leading the Thunderbolts, joining the Avengers, or causing chaos in World War Hulk, Ross's journey as Red Hulk has the potential to shape the direction of the MCU in exciting ways. The idea of Thaddeus Ross seeking a cure for his Red Hulk persona is an interesting concept and one that has sparked plenty of speculation among lots of fans. While the idea of him remaining as Red Hulk and continuing to stir up trouble in the MCU is undeniably exciting, there's also the possibility that Ross might decide to rid himself of his monstrous alter ego. In the comics, Ross chose to take on the role of Red Hulk, but in the MCU, the transformation was orchestrated by the leader without Ross's knowledge. The fact that Ross voluntarily chooses to imprison himself in Captain America: Brave New World could suggest that he sees his transformation into the Red Hulk as more of a dangerous burden than a gift. This opens up the question, could Thaddeus Ross actually be cured of his Red Hulk persona, and if so, what would that mean for the MCU moving forward? To understand whether or not Ross could be cured, we need to dive into his relationship with his transformation and his past attempts at controlling the Hulk. In the comics, Ross has always been obsessed with harnessing the power of the Hulk, often viewing it as a means to increase his control and military influence. However, his pursuit of power has often led to disaster, especially after his own transformation into the Red Hulk. Unlike Bruce Banner, who struggles with his inner Hulk, Ross's transformation is a bit different. While both are driven by rage, Ross has more control over his Hulk form, as it doesn't come with the same emotional instability that Bruce experiences. Nevertheless, Ross's Red Hulk persona still represents a dangerous and unpredictable force that could be destructive if left unchecked. In Brave New World, Ross's voluntary imprisonment could signify that he views his Red Hulk form as a liability rather than an asset. While he has used his Hulk abilities to his advantage in the past, his decision to lock himself away might hint that he recognizes the risks involved in maintaining that power. This is an important point to consider when discussing the potential for a cure. If Ross sees himself as a ticking time bomb, he might actively seek out a way to rid himself of the Red Hulk persona once and for all. So how could that work? Well, there are a few possible methods for curing Ross's transformation, some of which could involve scientific treatments, special procedures, or even manipulating his gamma exposure. One potential way to cure Ross would be through scientific means, especially considering his background in military science. In the comics, there are several examples of characters who have been cured of their gamma-infused states through various methods, though none of them are foolproof. A procedure designed to reverse the gamma radiation in his body might be developed, possibly involving a collaboration between scientists like Bruce Banner, Samuel Stearns, the leader, or other experts in gamma research. Bruce Banner, despite his own struggles with the Hulk, could be a key figure in this potential cure. Banner, in both the comics and the MCU, has made significant strides in attempting to control or eliminate the Hulk persona. While he hasn't been able to fully rid himself of the Hulk, his work in trying to harness gamma radiation could lead to a solution that might work for Ross. Bruce and Ross have always had a tense relationship, and if Ross were to seek a cure, this could lead to some interesting dynamics between the two characters. Perhaps Banner would be willing to help Ross, understanding the weight of living with a monstrous alter ego, or maybe there would be resistance, with Banner feeling that Ross doesn't deserve to be rid of the power that he's sought for so long. Alternatively, there could be a storyline where Ross avoids the gamma-infused pills or treatments that have been keeping his Red Hulk persona under control. In the MCU, we've seen that certain characters are able to suppress or control their powers through medication or other external means. For Ross, if he were to stop taking the pills or undergo some form of scientific procedure that stabilizes his condition, it's possible that he could force the Red Hulk persona to fade away. This would be a temporary fix though, as we know that gamma radiation has long-lasting effects, and even if Ross could suppress his transformation for a while, the potential for it to return would always be there.
Well, here's something everyone can understand.
Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain. Ross's future in the MCU is full of potential, and the journey of whether he'll remain as Red Hulk or seek a cure will be intriguing to watch unfold.
Avengers, assemble!
What do you think is going to happen in Red Hulk's future? Which future projects do you think he is most likely to appear in? Tell us in the comments, and remember to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching CBR.